All right, so we are very excited to be your speakers today. I first want to introduce Lina Pulido to you, who is a Senior Program Officer at Prosper Canada, and she's on our research and evaluation team. And my name is Jenny Bolton, and I'm a Senior Program Officer in Prosper Canada's Learning and Training Department. So together we've been leading the development of this new benefits tool, which we're really excited to share with you today. But of course, we'd have lots of help from other team members as well, including our IS and some of the others on our team. So it's been a real joint effort. I want to invite you to do your own land acknowledgement if you are calling in from other areas. But we're going to start today with a land acknowledgement. We want to share with you that we're joining you from Toronto, which is situated upon traditional territories. The territories include the Wendat, the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations and the Métis Nation. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, the Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Today, the meeting place of Toronto is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community on this territory. And hopefully many of you had the opportunity this past weekend to acknowledge Truth and Reconciliation and do something just to remind us all of how grateful we are to be on this land. So, for those that don't know us already, just a very quick overview. I'm going to pass that actually over to Lina. I'm jumping in, Lina. I just keep talking. We're going to have some fun today. All right, Lina, go ahead. Tell us who we are.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know us already, we at Prosper Canada, we are a national charity dedicated to expanding economic opportunity for Canadians living in poverty. As Canada's leading financial empowerment champion, we work with partners in all sectors to ensure that all Canadians, regardless of their income, have access to the financial programs, products, services, and advice they need to build their financial well-being. We work closely with community organizations across Canada and are funded by a variety of sources, including TD, Ready Commitment, and Maple Leaf Centre for Food Security, which actually supported this initiative. And a little bit about what we're going to get into today. What we hope to accomplish is that we want to introduce to you our new tool called Bridge to Benefits. And we also want to demonstrate which demonstrates how to find information on providing access to benefit services within your organization or community. We hope that you can use what you learned today within your own organization, but also that you share this with other organizations within your community. So we will also sneak in a few other related resources that we offer at Prosper Canada related to benefits access. And our agenda for today is we want to go over why we created the tool in the first place. We want to give you an overview of the development process. We want to also do an activity kind of outlining the potential users of the tool. Jenny will also be providing a demo of the tool, so she'll be walking through the website itself to show you how it works. We want to go over how you can share this tool with others. We actually have communication toolkits that we have created, as well as, like I said before, we want to provide some more information about the access to benefits training that we have available at Prosper Canada. And we want to have also an opportunity for questions and feedback. So hoping to have time for that at the end of the presentation. Okay, so before we get started, if you have the ability to, if you can raise the little emoji hand to let us know in the chat if you've heard of either of the tools, the Benefits Wayfinder or the Disability Benefits Wayfinder. Just seeing here if I can see any hands. Okay, I see 2, 4, this is just a gauge to have an idea, how many of you are familiar with these tools? Okay, this is great. I think a lot of you are familiar with these tools. And I think it's important to know about these particular projects because they're a precursor to the Bridge to Benefits tool that we're presenting today. Let's see. So with the Benefits Wayfinder, a little bit of context here. Before we begin, we also want to, Jenny, if you could launch the poll.
Will do. Oh. I think that, there we go. Get ready. Sorry about that. I think my slide got put in the wrong spot. So we're going to run with it. Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
So we're doing the
launch
poll first.
Poll today. Okay. Before we get started, I just, in addition to wondering whether or not you've been exposed to the Benefits Wayfinder and the Disability Benefits Compass, we're also just wanting to get a sense of whether you're currently offering access to benefit services. And so I'm going to launch a poll and we're going to get a sense of who's doing that. So just give me a minute. Here it comes. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so how many of you are currently offering these kinds of services? You can put a maybe in there because maybe you're not too sure. And you'll learn a little bit about what they actually are perhaps today. So let's see. And so you want to select it and then just click submit, and then we'll get a sense. Let's see what's happening. Yep, we got some maybes. You may be not sure if we're offering those or not. All right, certainly many of you aren't. So this is a great opportunity to learn about some of the ways that you can. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then one more quick poll. I just want to find out, what brings you here today then? So for this question, it's, are you looking to offer access to benefit services at your organization? Are you looking to expand access to benefit services? So maybe you're offering a couple of things now and you'd like to offer more, or maybe like Lena and I, we're just here to have fun. So you can choose what it is that has brought you here today. Yeah, see, some of you are just here to have fun. That's great. Hopefully you learned something too. All right, good. Okay, so a lot of you are here maybe for the first time looking to offer this, which is just fantastic. You're in the right place. All right, good. Well, thank you so much. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to bring it back to Lena, who's going to just go over the Benefits Wayfinder for you and the Disability Benefits Compass just a little bit before we dive into the new tool. Over to you, Lena.
Thank you, Jenny. I just put it in the chat if any of you would like to have a look at the Benefits Wayfinder while I chat about it. But essentially, for those of you that don't know, this tool was actually launched in March 2021. It is an online tool that simplifies the search for government benefits for people seeking ways to boost their incomes and or reduce their expenses. It provides community members or frontline service providers the ability to search for benefits in a few different ways. They can use a questionnaire, starting points, such as newcomer to Canada, education costs, or caring for a child or adult, as well as the ability to just browse. It has information for all provinces and territories, as well as federal benefits. We have actually had over 200,000 new users since the launch in 2021. So it's been a very widely used tool, and we're very proud of it. And then moving on to the Disability Compass. This is linked to the Benefit Wayfinder. Recognizing that navigating disability benefits is much more complex. So to help improve the navigation of the key disability benefits, we developed the Disability Benefits Compass, which actually launched this past November 2022. It provides information about the 4 key disability benefits for persons with disabilities in all provinces and territories. This would include the Disability Tax Credit, Canada Pension plan, disability benefit, the registered disability savings plan, plus the one in each individual provincial province and territory. The site was created for people living in Canada with severe mental or physical disability, or if you have trouble with daily activities and require help from another person, assistive device, or animal. It can be used by people with disabilities, caregivers, family members, and organizations who provide access to benefit support. The Disability Benefit Compass is a standalone tool, but like I said, it is embedded within the Benefits Wayfinder. Okay, and I'll pass it off to Jenny now to talk about a little bit of the context.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, we really encourage you to take a look at both of those tools as well. But of course, the purpose of today is to really highlight our new tool. So we now have a suite of 3 different tools that are talking about benefits and accessing benefits. So the new Bridge to Benefits tool, it's a little bit unique. So as you noticed with the other 2, they're really well used by frontline service workers as well as the actual audience, your clients that you're working with. But this particular tool has a more targeted audience. It's really for organizations and managers. So what you want to do is take a look at all of the different things, and we'll do that together today in the demo, but I'll also encourage you to do that on your own as well. And it's really geared towards organizations like some of you who've indicated that in our poll today, that are thinking about how they can access benefits, bring access to benefit services to their programming. So how can you embed that into what you're already offering? It can also be used by organizations who are seeking to expand their access to benefits offerings. So for example, maybe you run a tax clinic, but now you also want to offer documentation storage, or maybe you want to go a little bit further and help clients fill out the benefits applications. Or it could be an organization that does not normally delve into access to benefit services, who wants to start offering group workshops on the topic, or maybe you want to help clients to navigate the online resources such as the Benefits Wayfinder. So really there's something for everyone in this tool, and we really encourage you to dive deep into it. We're only going to have a little bit of time today to go through it on the surface, but there are lots of things in it, and we're going to go through some of the support cards and the information that they have, but there's also information on other ways that you can support. So things like language support, legal support, there's related support, so such as food security and housing, and these are maybe things that you're already offering right now. So whenever we get together, we want to get our brains working and get all of you interacting as well. And so what I want you to think about, this is our little activity to do together today. I want you to think about who could use this tool and how. So I'm going to demonstrate for you. On this slide, you'll see the types of sectors or the types of organizations that might be able to find this tool useful. And I'm going to highlight a couple of these areas, and then I'm going to have you write in the chat a service or support that you think that they could offer around access to benefits. So let me demonstrate. We are currently working with the Toronto Public Library. It's a really exciting project. And what we're doing is we're integrating financial empowerment into some of their branches. So this tool, for example, could help them to identify areas where their staff could support access to benefits. So for example, in a library, they could promote events with flyers. Sometimes libraries actually have workshops, so they could actually have a workshop on access to benefits. Or if they have a computer lab, they might be actually able to host the Benefits Wayfinder on their computers. So now it's your turn. Get your thinking caps on. The next one I'm going to highlight is newcomer services. So I want you to think about the types of access to benefits services that a newcomer organization could provide. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to the chat here and see if you can come up with some ways that a newcomer organization could provide access to benefits services. You got to think about it. If you're working with people who are new to Canada and they're trying to access their benefits. What kinds of things? Yeah, hosting information sessions. Thank you, Judy. Great. Love that. That's good. Yeah, they may not know about all the benefits that they are eligible for. You could do something, talk a little bit about the benefits Wayfinder and help them to learn how to navigate that. What else could you do? I know I've worked for many years in a newcomer organization. Of course, one of the biggest things that always comes to mind is language, right? So maybe there's a little hint. What else could you do? English classes, but in relation to access to benefits, you could actually, help them understand the forms, right? So in helping them to fill out the forms so that they can access the benefits, because obviously language might be a barrier. Sure. Group workshops, so I'm getting all kinds of things there now. All right, great. Yeah, definitely the application forms that we were talking about, individualized one-on-one supports on how to navigate the benefits Wayfinder. These are great. Yeah. Help getting ID, maybe, right? It could be difficult too. Maybe they are a refugee and they don't have all of their information, how they can navigate. Yeah, the government bureaucracy, Jane, that's a good one, right? It can be really, really complicated. Understanding the forms, learning how to store important documents, that's a good one. And what's needed for life in Canada. Sounds like you work with newcomers, Randy. That's great. Good. These are really great. So that's what I just wanted to get you thinking about. We got to get it in our minds on how we can actually take some of the information that we're going to learn from this new tool and apply it within our own organizations. All right, newcomers package. Good. All right, I'm going to try another one. We're on the right track here now. So what about the shelter system? So if you're working in a shelter and you're thinking about the types of access to benefit services that you might be able to provide, can you think of some other things that might be really relevant to this particular group? Housing, right? Yeah. So what kinds of benefits are related to housing that can help them find a place to live? Providing an address. Yeah, good one, Gabrielle. Thank you. I know you know this stuff. Good. Access to housing, COHB. Oh, for some of us who may not know, including myself, COHB. Can someone put what that means? Lishan, thank you. Not ever, sometimes acronyms, right? All right. Anything else for, accessing, yeah, ID is huge. Yeah. And, thank you. Thanks, Sarah. So it's a subsidy, Canada Ontario Housing Benefit. Right, there we go. Help pay rent. Fantastic. I'm not used to seeing it in an acronym. That's great. Good. Good. What other kinds of things? Anything else? Storing their ID, right? A lot of people don't have a safe place, or again, filling out those forms, all kinds of things. All right, I have one more for you. And the next one is a senior center. Oh, ID clinic. Good one there. Some more people coming in here. What about a senior center? Again, other kinds of things that might be important in terms of accessing benefits for seniors. What kinds of things could you offer? Pension information, exactly. Yeah, so it changes a little bit, right? So again, depending on the groups that you're serving, there's obviously different kinds of needs or different kinds of services that you might consider. Let's see. Oh, digital literacy. That's a good one. Explain GIS. Yeah, so having workshops. You got it. A clinic to fill out applications. Oh, I had to fill out ones recently, and it's not easy. And I should know about all this, but it always takes a little bit to understand. That's great. These are fantastic. Medical support. Yes, right? Fantastic. So the Benefits Wayfinder has lots of different things that can help them access. And if you can help support them through that, that would be great. Okay, these are great. You guys got it. Oh, there's another good one. Transportation. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And that is something that we have on the tool as well. Great stuff. Well, thank you so much for all of your input and for your participation. It's really appreciated. Okay, good stuff. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Lena, and I know you're excited to jump in and take a look at the tool, but we want to share with you the process. And Lena was really involved in this, so before we start on the demo, she's going to share that with you.
Thank you, Jenny. As the comments were coming in, I was trying to give everyone a like, but there were so many coming in that I was having trouble catching up. So thank you for everyone's responses. I'm going to just share the tool link once again, so it's fresh in the chat. And Jenny will be going over this tool, but just to give you a little bit of context of what went into it. So we have really amazing partners at Prosper Canada who helped us along this development journey. I want to acknowledge them and the time and expertise that they provided, and their support is very much appreciated. So just to shout them out, we worked with SF du Sud-Ouest de Montréal, Community Financial Counseling Service in Winnipeg, E4C in Edmonton, Alberta, Family Services of Greater Vancouver, North York Community House in Toronto, Thunder Bay Counseling Center, and those were the organizations we directly worked with to develop this tool. So I would say most projects at Prosper Canada begin with a service design process. So this involves consultation with stakeholders, like the organizations I just mentioned, to get their input on what is needed. We discovered through this process that we can categorize access to benefit services into 4 kind of solid steps. First would be learning about benefits. Second is applying for benefits. Third is getting benefits. And fourth is maintaining those benefits. You will see that this model was then used to organize the content within the tool. We then, once we figured that out, we embarked on the task of creating content leaning on our expertise with our partners for input and feedback. The challenge was providing the right level of detail, so not too basic that it left the user with more questions than answers, but not too detailed that it became overwhelming. We also need to ensure the accuracy of the information we provided, the relevancy for the intended user. Was this going to serve its intended purpose? Which was to help organizations explore and understand what it takes to offer access to benefit services to their community members. While all of this was going on, we were also building a prototype for the tool in the form of a website. So we actually use a similar format to the Benefits Wayfinder and the Disability Benefit Compass, as this had been quite successful in the past. So once we had a working draft of the tool, we took it to the users for feedback and conducted some UX testing. So after that, tweaks to the tool were made based on the feedback, and then it was translated into French. So it was ready for users. That made it sound easy. I maybe a little bit complicated, but it took many months and many minds to bring it all together. So just to give you a little context. And I just want to pass it off to Jenny now, and Jenny will be providing a demo of the tool itself.
Great. Thanks so much, Lena. Yeah, it was quite a process and a very rewarding one, and we're excited to share that with you today. So just to kind of give you a quick description of what resulted, it's really meant to be a one-stop resource for organizations such as yourself so that you can learn about those 4 steps that Lena talked about: the learning, the applying, the getting, and the maintaining. And so you as organizations, you can use this tool and you can find out how much time, how much expertise, and what level of partnerships are required to pursue a particular activity. I'm going to show this to you once we get into the site. So just give me a moment. I'm going to stop sharing. It usually kind of takes just a moment, and I'm going to share my screen again and show you the tool. There we go. Can everyone see the tool? We're good? All right. So let's take you here. So this is our home page. All right. So as you can see up at the top, we've got links to various sections of the tool. But it starts out with a little bit of a description, a brief overview. You'll notice throughout we have lots of links to the Benefits Wayfinder as they're very much connected. And of course, our main page just gives you things on, how to use the tool, why benefits matter, and all of these can be accessed from the top ribbon as well. We're also going to share with you today some of the best practices. These are the kinds of things we really relied on our partners for. They gave us some great insights. But what I wanted to highlight on this particular page is the 6 supports that you can start with. So there's many different supports, but these are some of them that are suggested if you're wanting to just kind of take a quick peek through them. It's some of the ones that maybe are the most familiar. Some of them are maybe easier, things like marketing and promoting benefits. So you can take a look at those. Okay, so then I'm going to move up to the top again. Try not to go too quickly here. So again, we have this ribbon at the top, which will allow you to access everything. And the one that I really want to spend some time on today is our dashboard. So the dashboard is set up as we described in the 4 different steps. So we have the learning about benefits, the applying for benefits, getting and maintaining benefits. Okay, so all of that is here. And what we can do is we can filter this. I mean, there's lots of different ways to navigate it. We can just click wherever we feel like, what things that might interest us, or we might want to filter things so that we get to what we're looking for more quickly. So for example, if I'm an organization, maybe I'm a newcomer organization, or maybe I'm an employment service and I'm helping youth, and I want to help them with documentation. So maybe I recognize that sometimes it's a barrier to getting the benefits. I just don't have the right documentation. How do I fill out those forms? How do I get what I need? So I've just filtered it. And as you can see, there's nothing in step 1 with regards to documentation, but there's lots of things in step 2 around applying for benefits that apply to documentation access. So for example, these are called support cards, by the way. And on this particular support card, I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper and show you the types of information that you're going to find in a support card. But before I do that, let's just take a look at the front of the support card. As you can see, I mentioned earlier, things are categorized as to whether or not it's a high amount of time or medium amount of time or low amount of time that's required, the level of expertise, and the number of partnerships or the level of partnerships that are needed. So that's shown on all of the support cards. There's a short blurb. It will show you the filter. And then when I click on it, I'm going to get a lot more information. So I'm going to get a little bit of a brief overview. And if I scroll down, all of the support cards are organized in this way. So they're going to start with just giving you some of the minimum requirements. So again, right now I'm searching about how I could supply service around documentation. Okay, so filling out applications for documentation. So maybe you're working with people who are precariously housed or elderly or indigenous, and for whatever reason they are having difficulty filling out the applications for the documents that they need. So as an organization, here's some of the things that I need to think about. This is as you can see, it's rated as, it takes a lot of time, takes a certain level of expertise. So as an organization, I'm going to need to think about things like some funding. I'm going to need to make sure I have some technology, right? So we need access to computers to fill out the forms. Most of them are done online now. Of course, it's going to take some staff time. I'm going to be needing to meet one-on-one with individuals. I'm going to need to train my staff. That's going to take some time. They need to understand all of the different types of applications. So that's just a learning curve as well. And then in terms of partnerships, so what was shared by some of our partners in this that Lena spoke about earlier, they really shared with us some of the challenges that they have and how important partnerships are. So for example, if I'm trying to help somebody with a form, having a good relationship with somebody at the CRA might be really important so that I can help to access the information or help them to fill out something that's a bit more complex. Because as we know, everybody's individual circumstances are different. And for some of the people that you work with, it can be quite challenging. So these are some of the requirements. And then I go down to what do I need to do to get started? So again, we talked about making sure our staff are familiar with how to fill out these forms. Maybe I want to have printed copies. Maybe people aren't comfortable. We talked about digital literacy earlier, right? Maybe that's not something they're comfortable with and we want to do it on paper instead of computer. Or if they do want to do it on computer, they need a bit of technical assistance with that. Maybe you want to have some frequently asked question sheets so that people can read them on their own and try to do it on their own as well. Anything you can do to support the process. We then have a tab called Other Things to Consider. This might just be other little things. Maybe it takes it to the next step. So for example, sometimes it's really advisable to have a couple people within your organization who are designated as the experts on this, right? We can't be experts in everything. So it can be helpful to maybe have a volunteer or some staff members who are really good at this, and they can be your go-to person. One of our partners shared with us, this was really a key for them, right? I think, it's called the hassle factor, right? If things are too difficult, we put it off. So if it's really difficult for your client to get postage or pay for postage, you as an organization, if you can, maybe could help pay for their postage, give them the prepaid, postage envelope, and even mail it for them, things like that. A lot of our partners shared how much they actually did to help clients to make sure that everything was completed. And then all of the support cards also share some examples or some links to other kinds of resources related to the topic. So for this particular one, it shows that we have some videos. The government has actually created some videos on how to fill out the citizenship application. There's some information on CPP, on GIS. And then, of course, we've got lots of links throughout to our Benefits Wayfinder and to the Disability Benefits Navigator. So, for example, our DBN, or Disability Benefits Navigator, has some great information on how to fill out the documents for disability benefits. I'm going to pause for just a moment and just see if there's any questions. Feel free to raise your hand and we can give you the opportunity to speak, or feel free to put them in the chat and Lena can address them as well. But that's what a support card looks like. And then I can go back to the main screen. Okay. So there's lots of information because every single one of these support cards relates to a different service. All right, I'm going to go now. If we don't have any questions, I'm going to go up to my ribbon at the top and share with you some of the other pages that we have. Of course, why benefits matter. I think most of you probably, if you've been working in this field, know how important they are to helping people increase their income. And with increased income, of course, it's going to help their overall wellness and their health and their food security and all of these things. So why benefits matter and some of the things that you can do to help. We have a persona here. We have Jackie, which is based on someone that one of our partners has worked with, and just how important it was for her to get benefits in order for her to keep her housing. Okay, so that's something if you want to take a look at. We also have other ways to support. And again, maybe some of the things that are discussed on our support cards aren't easy for you to do, but there's lots of other things that you as an organization perhaps are already doing or might be interested in doing. So for example, referrals. If it's something that you can't help with, maybe there's another organization within your community that can. So this is just some information on why referrals are so important, how you can create a really strong referral list. We have the help section on our Benefits Wayfinder where you can find different organizations. There's different ways that you can connect and keep all of your referrals connected. Some tips on when it's good to make a referral and how to make a successful one, right? You want to build trust, you want to close the circle, you want to make sure that your client actually gets to where they need to go. So there's lots of tips and tricks on here. And as you can see, I can print this out. I can also move back to this page and I'll go over a couple of the other things that you can do. Of course, there's moral support, right? It could just be, being that cheerleader, providing encouragement, providing empathy, helping them go through the process because it can feel really daunting for people. We also have language support. We talked about that in our activity. If you're helping somebody who's new to Canada understand the forms because it's not in their first language, those kinds of things, and just different types of tips, how important it is to use plain language, for example. Okay, and then we have systems advocacy and problem solving. Okay, just helping people through all of the different things that they may encounter. I'll go through these quickly as we've got a few others to focus on. Legal support as well. Of course, things can get complicated, so being aware of some of the legal clinics in your area. Okay, and then appeals, especially with disability benefits. Often people don't get it the first time and need to appeal. We've got lots of information about that on the disability benefits compass as well. Okay, so there's lots of that kind of information. We also have, going back to the ribbon at the top, some best practices. And again, these were shared with us by our partners who have years and years of experience in this field, and we thank them for all of their insights. So for example, systems, right? What kinds of systems do you need in order to provide access to benefit services? You probably already have a CMS, but maybe you need to make some adjustments to it, some things you might need to consider. We try to provide examples where we can. Again, we've talked about referral systems, delivering services online, and how do we keep track of everything, right? We want to make sure that we keep track of the impact that we're having. Staffing, we talked about staffing as being one of the requirements, and so just a little bit more about that in terms of the skill set that's needed, the time and space that's needed. You want people to feel comfortable talking about benefits, talking about the role clarity for your staff. It can be really complicated sometimes, so making sure that they know their boundaries and what they can and can't help with. Maybe some incentives for helping them, and some of the specialized training and support that they might need. Even Prosper Canada, I'll share with you later, we do have some online courses and some other things that can help you learn more about this topic. All right, we also have about 2 more things here, and please, if you have questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and I can answer them afterwards as well. So some related supports. So again, these are not access to benefit services, but connections to these supports can really help remove barriers. So for example, if I'm having trouble accessing housing, I probably want to figure that out first before I jump in too much into other things, or maybe accessing some of the benefits that's going to help me in order to access better housing for myself. There's things on coaching, financial coaching, crisis management, mental health services. So again, we've tried to provide easy links so that you can find the information that you need. This will help you find a food bank, mental health support, employment centers. All kinds of information is here at your fingertips. And finally, whenever you need help, if you want help on how to use the tool, we've got a little bit here around filtering and sorting. One thing I didn't demonstrate to you is when you're using the support cards, for example, you can then hide them if it's something you're not interested in. If it's something that you've already seen and you've already read, you can mark it, and just helps you to sort of navigate, because they all look the same sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and come back to the presentation. And then we'll see if we have any questions. So just a moment here. All right, there we go. I'm going to just check the chat now for a moment and see if you have any questions about it. So that's just a really quick overview. Always sensitive to the amount of time we have, but it's there's a lot of information there. So maybe you followed along, and if not, I encourage you to jump on the link afterwards and take a look at it. If at any time you have questions, of course, you can reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help. Were there any other questions that I may have missed, Lena?
Yes, there is one from Emily in the chat about referrals. I know we have a section in the tool that talks about the steps that you can take when you might not be able to offer a service, but you can refer people somewhere else.
Great. So I'm seeing that here. Yeah, thank you. So you'll be doing social programming So you don't have the time or expertise to go through them. Yeah, so there's definitely, you can try to find out within your own community what organizations do that. Maybe reach out, speak with them, let them know what you're doing, and build that rapport a little bit. And you can also go on to, there's the link there, which takes you to the benefits Wayfinder, which has some agencies throughout the province and throughout Canada, different organizations. And if you're an organization that's not on that list and wants to be, let us know, because we're always adding to it if there's things that you can do to help support. So hopefully that answers your question. And if not, again, we can circle back again. So I'm going to pass it back over to Lena, who's going to talk a little bit about what's next and some of the other things that we're doing.
Okay, thanks, Jenny. Okay, so what we want to, or what we like to do at Prosper Canada with any of the tools that we develop, is to evaluate them to see how useful they are to people that use them. The way that we're going to be doing this is with the Bridge to Benefits tool is through Google Analytics. So we actually are going to track, the users or the interactions on our website. So people that join the website, we're also going to be monitoring navigation patterns just to see like what pages are popular and where the areas of interest lie. And hopefully that'll give us an idea of where we might need some more content in the future, or maybe content that's not very useful to help us edit the tool. We're going to be gathering data on user demographics. That's pretty much just going to be where people are coming in from. So we have an idea of what provinces are interested in this information, just to see if maybe we need to share the tool more widely in different provinces or territories. And we've done this in the past with all our tools, and it's a really good way to kind of gauge how people are using the tool and if it's useful. Another step of the evaluation is we're actually going to be conducting user interviews with website users after they've explored the toolkit. So we want to engage with individuals from organizations that do not currently offer access to benefit services. We're doing this because we've kind of established that is going to be our target audience for the tool. And this is because the content, after talking with our partners, the content really involves the starting points of access to benefit services, which is what we've heard has been kind of the difficult part of offering access to benefit services. Like, where do we start? How do we do this? So we want to talk to people that have reviewed the tool, and they can let us know if this tool is helping them answer their questions, basically. So we want to focus on professionals in healthcare, food security, and other community services, but it's not limited to these types of organizations either. How can you participate in the evaluation? So going back to the poll at the beginning, I saw that 34% of you said that you do not offer access to benefit services, and 37% said maybe you do. So even within this webinar, we have a really great sample size of people that we want to talk to. So if you are interested in letting us know what you think of the website, I think Jenny has just posted a Microsoft Forms link in the chat. So please go navigate to the form, fill it out, and we will reach out to you if you are selected and if there's spots available in the evaluation. Again, like I said, we're looking to speak to people that work for organizations that do not currently offer access to benefit services. We will be providing a $50 digital gift card for your time. And to give you a bit of context, most of the interviews are being scheduled for the week of October 16th, but of course, I'm flexible. I'll be conducting the interviews. So please feel free to fill out those forms. You can also email me if you have any questions. I'll just put my email in the chat. And yes, just let me know if you have any thoughts, and would be really looking forward to talk to any of you that are interested. And I'll pass it back to you, Jenny. Sorry, Jenny, I don't think I can hear you, or maybe it's just me.
Oh, it helps if I put my mic on.
Okay.
The other thing that we're really hoping is that you'll help us spread the word. And we have created a communications toolkit to make it easy for you. So, it's tough sometimes for us to get the word out. And so if you can share it with other organizations in your communities that you think might be interested in this, we would be really, really appreciative. So what we've got is for you like an email that's sort of half drafted. You can, tailor it a little bit if you'd like, but we've created a sample email, some social media posts, just some things to help get the information out there. As we mentioned at the beginning, this is a unique tool because it's really meant for managers and organizations. So it's not something that we're going to be able to promote just on regular Twitter or those kinds of things per se, because it's we really want to get it to that audience. So your help is really important. And we're going to put that. Oh, I think you've done that already. Thank you. Thanks, Lena. She's put the information in there. We'll send that again as well when we send out our follow-up email. And we can't have a webinar without telling you about some of the other things that we're doing here at Prosper Canada, because they're all often interconnected. So just a couple other things before we jump into Q&A that I'd like to share with you. And one of them is our financial literacy course that's been recently updated. We've got new modules on investments and on consumer protection. But what is really key that I want to share with you for the month of October, and it's Investor Education Month, it's also RDSP Awareness Month, is that we're sharing Module 5 with everyone for free, and you can go in and take a look. And again, we're going to share that link with you as well. I can throw it in there right now. So yeah, we really encourage you to take a look at that. What else? We also want to just tell you if there's other things that you want to learn about access to benefits, we do have an online course that we offer. So it takes about 3 to 4 hours to complete, and we'll also share the link with you for that. I'm sure many of you have taken it already. We have a revised learning hub. So we have so much information. We're constantly adding new things to our learning hub. So if there's any information that you're looking for in relation to financial empowerment, this is the place. So please take a look at our new and refreshed hub. And webinars, we've got lots of webinars this month. And of course, Financial Literacy Month is coming up, so there'll probably be a few other things as well. But on October the 17th, we have one on increasing access to benefits for people with disabilities. It was a project, and we're going to share with you some of our insights and recommendations. Again, when we share the PowerPoint with you later, there'll actually be the link will be there for you to register, or you can go on to our website as well, or I think we'll put the link in there too. On November the 9th, we have another one on the ability to manage. So we're going to share some tools with you on how you can help community members manage their expenses, their saving, and their debt. So that's going to highlight our new Making the Most of Your Money course and our Investing with Interest booklet. So that's coming up as well. So it's a busy time. So the other thing, I'm sensitive to time. We've just got about 10 minutes left, and I definitely want to leave some time for questions. But we always really appreciate your feedback. So in just a moment, and maybe you can fill it out while we're engaging with our question period, we would love to hear your feedback on our webinar today, and any suggestions that you may have for webinars in the future. So we're going to share with you our post-webinar evaluation, which I think you got that there already. Awesome. You're right there. You got it all for me, Lena. Thank you so much. Okay. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any other questions or comments. I'm going to share with you our email addresses on the slide there. We can also put them in the chat. And then I'm going to pause, and I'll stop sharing here in just a moment. And then if anybody has any questions, I'll be able to see the chat, or you can even raise your hand. And if you're willing and you want to speak, you're happy to answer questions that way as well. So here we go. Stop presenting, and we'll be able to see who's there. Okay. Any questions today? Anything else that you want to learn about, or if there's anything else that you want me to review, please don't hesitate. Wow, we've given you a lot of links. I was looking at the chat there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit overwhelming, but I think Arlene, I see a hand up. I'm not sure if that's meant to be up or not, but if you have any questions, would it be in the chat that they type the questions?
They can, or I can unmute them. I think some of the hands might be from when we did the how many people, but I'm not sure. Arlene, did you have a question? If you want to let us know, I can unmute you, or you can put it into the chat for us today.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you want us to unmute you. And if not, no worries.
We're a quiet bunch today. That's okay. Well, one of the questions, maybe you can just throw in the chat for me, what's your overall impression? This is a bit of a different tool, obviously, for us, right? We tend to have things that, the benefits Wayfinder and the benefits Navigator compass. Oh, thanks, Arlene. They're more for the client, right? They're something you could work side by side with the client on, or the client can do on their own. This one's a little bit different. As we mentioned, it's for organizations and for managers. Is there, what's your first impression? Is it something that you see going to be able to help you? Do you know how you might use it in the future? If you got any ideas of what you might do, we'd love to hear it. Give me a moment there. Are you all sleeping? Okay, thanks, Emily. So yeah, as an individual, I had a lot of trouble understanding Service Canada's wording. So yeah, when you go and try to fill out forms, so I think that's what you're probably referring to, right? It can be really difficult when you're trying to read through. And so, yeah, and so you can imagine from a client's point of view, right? If they're trying to do all of this, how overwhelming it can feel. So as an organization, if there's things that you can do, if you can even just, sometimes even writing things in more plain language, one of the things that come out in the tool is just, even having a little addendum, a little sheet that goes with it to sort of help guide them through and answer some of the questions. It says it's like they use normal words that have meaning to you, mean something very specific to them. Yes, exactly. The terminology. And think about how that would be if you're new to Canada as well, right? So if the language isn't your first language, and then you've got this different kind of terminology, yeah, it can be very, very complicated. Thanks for sharing, Emily. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so there's a lot of information on the tool, and so it might have been a little bit overwhelming. Oh yeah, it can make you feel that way. So, exactly. And so we want to do as much as we can to support people so that they don't feel that way and that they can access the benefits that they're entitled to. So yeah, there's a lot in this tool. There's a lot of information. So I hope we haven't overwhelmed you too much today. And we hope that it's going to be helpful. We are going to follow up today in a couple of days, I should say, with the recording, with some of the resources. We'll have all of those links in there. So you've got some time. Oh, a couple other things here. Applying for a grant. Okay. Nonprofit. Sorry, just give me a moment. I'm going to read it here. Thanks, Tony. I hear. Okay, you tried it a little. Great. Yeah, the filtering. Good. I'm glad that's helpful. And Norma, thanks for your comment as well. That's great. Yeah, it's I know Lena, I think you probably felt the same way. I know we've had these discussions when we were developing it. There was a lot to learn, and I didn't know a lot about access to benefits when I started, and just that learning curve of how complicated it can be and how many barriers there can be for individuals. So anything that as frontline service organizations we can do to help people overcome those barriers and access it. But it's complicated, and a lot of the partners shared with us how complicated it can be. So hopefully some of the tips and tricks in here and the best practices will help you get started on that journey. Yeah, okay, thank you, Barb. A lot of them face addictions and struggle with timelines and all of those things, right? So if you recall in one of the things I shared with you, just even that moral support, right? Like just being there and helping them through all of that and following up, those kinds of things can be really, really essential to their success. All right, good. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time today, and really thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stay on the line with Lena for a little bit if you continue to have any questions. Otherwise, I wish all of you a really great long weekend. Thank you so much again for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you at some of the other ones coming up over the next month or two. So thanks so much.